Did the director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just say that aliens are real, that UFOs are real? Did she hint at that? Is this the first step into setting it up? Well, take a listen. Let me look at this article first. Tulsi Gabbard pushes boundaries with alien conspiracy theories. Is she on to something? In a recent appearance on the New York Post podcast, Pod Force One, she hinted at the existence of aliens and suggested there's classified information that supports her beliefs. When asked about the potential for alien life, Gabbard replied, "I have my own views and opinions. In this role, I have to be careful with what I share. However, the pressure to elaborate on the subject made her confirm yes when pressed further." In the interview, Gabbard acknowledged that she wasn't prepared to talk about specific details, but assured listeners her office would be transparent with the public when the time comes. The statement ties into the long-standing conspiracy theory that the government possesses secret knowledge regarding alien life. She also talked about the drones, and she said they didn't hold back when discussing her curiosity about the drones that were spotted across New Jersey last year. She said she still has a lot of questions around that. She stated, regarding to what the intelligence community designates as UAPs, "I've heard what the official public line is. We're continuing to look for the truth and share the truth with the American people." So Miranda Devine, a columnist for The Post, acknowledged the connection to the popular series X-Files. When she remarked the truth is out there, Gabbard laughed and replied, "Yes, it is." While both the Trump and Biden administrations have classified these aerial objects as a mere mix of personal and government aircraft, Gabbard remains skeptical about the official explanation, hinting that more may lie beneath the surface. It wasn't just New Jersey, she stressed. It was happening in different parts of the country. There's a lot of classified information about that. She also touched on a known aerial incursion, the Chinese surveillance balloon that traversed U.S. airspace in early 2023 before being shot down. She claimed the intelligence community has a lot of solid information on that incident. Interestingly, Gabbard isn't alone within the Trump administration regarding the UFO fascination. Vice President Vance recently expressed his obsession with the UAPs, admitting that he's obsessed with the whole thing. He plans to dedicate time during the August recess to explore the topic further. Donald Trump Jr. has also discussed the possibility of alien existence, stating during an interview in January, "We can now say fairly definitively it seems that there's evidence of non-human intelligence out there engaging with our planet." While President Trump exhibits a curiosity about the subject, he confessed in a YouTube appearance on Logan Paul's Impulsive that he's not a firm believer in aliens, but I have met with people, serious people, that say there are some really strange things flying around out there, he added. It's a pretty big story that the Director of National Intelligence is saying pretty definitively that she believes in non-human intelligence. So as they mentioned in this article, what I think is interesting is that both her and Vance have been pretty open now about the UFO topic. Now, the thing that becomes more confusing to me is if you have someone like this and Vance on the side of trying to get down to this more, then why is it so hard to get these hearings going when you have this kind of support? When you have these two supporting, I mean, I guess the answer is because the gatekeepers that have been there for so long will do anything in their power to kind of shut it down. But I mean, you should have more assets now. And especially if you really want to get to the bottom of it and you really want to get to the, to find out what is happening and really investigate into it, then all these names that have been out there and all these different people that we've been talking about for the last 3 years here, I know other people have been talking about these people for like 5, 10, 15, whatever. You should get them all together now. And as you get more and more support from up the chain, you see this thing happening. But it didn't stop here, because there's a report now that NewsNation had about all of this, and basically saying, what does the government really know about alien life after this interview was given? And Lue Elizondo was asked about it, so check this out.
What does the government really know about aliens and UFOs? What's the truth about all those drone sightings over New Jersey last year? Remember that? Well, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just told the Pod Force One podcast that the truth may be out there. Take a look.
So do you believe that there could be aliens?
I honestly, like, my personal belief, I have my own views and opinions.
Right.
In this role, I got to be careful with what I share. I'm still going through and looking through what do we know and what is it that we don't know.
And the New Jersey, the strange objects over New Jersey, were drones.
I still have a lot of questions around that.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard what the public official line is. I just personally still have a lot of questions that are unanswered.
I think we all have a lot of questions. Remember, in January, the White House said there was nothing nefarious about the New Jersey drone sighting. So here's the question. What's the truth? Well, we're going to ask former Pentagon UFO investigator Lue Elizondo to get to it. So, Lue, good to see you. What does Tulsi Gabbard know that we all don't know?
Well, I think it's important to note that Tulsi Gabbard is a very seasoned official. She cut her teeth as a combat veteran and also formerly a field grade officer. So she's not new to the world of intelligence. And I think what she's doing is exactly her due diligence. Before she makes a public statement, she wants to make sure she speaks to all of the 16 intelligence agencies, try to remove all the stovepipes as she can, and really get to the truth of the matter. The bottom line is, look, whenever you admit to the American public that we don't have complete aerodomain awareness of our skies, we don't know what's in our skies all the time, you're also tipping your hand to your adversaries that we have vulnerability. So it's really a catch-22. Tulsi is in a really difficult spot because on one hand, she does have these outstanding questions like the New Jersey drone issue. We now know there was not prosaic explanations for what occurred with every one of those quote-unquote drone sightings. But at the same time, look, you've got 16 intelligence agencies that somehow it's like herding cats. You have to try to get all of them to report information to you. Yeah. And it's one heck of a bureaucracy. It really is.
You mentioned something about the danger of drones, and I hate to say this, another 9/11 style attack. I mean, can you explain to us how we prevent something like this? It's much different warfare than we've ever seen before.
Look, I'm really glad you're saying that. I think the American people would be shocked to learn that in modern warfare now, and you take the Ukraine, there have been more deaths attributed in combat to drones than artillery and infantry combined. Now think about that, right? So we are entering a completely new paradigm on how warfare is conducted. And it's really not much of a stretch to imagine some sort of foreign adversary or someone who wants to do harm to the United States or our national security, rather than using 737s, instead using much cheaper, much more affordable, and much easier to hide drones. They are already being used by drug cartels on our borders for surveillance and for smuggling drugs, and they're also being used right now in combat to kill other human beings. So I think that's a great question, and I think this is why our nation really needs a comprehensive strategy and frankly, maybe even a national intelligence estimate done every year by the DNI, by Tulsi's people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. It's definitely a reality that we have to be talking about. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, you got former Pentagon scientist Eric Davis said there are 4 types of alien species. There are greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. I never thought I'd be saying that this morning. Should we be taking anything of this as credible?
I was a nuts and bolts guy. Unfortunately, I can't comment on biologics, but I was more of a nuts and bolts guy.
Okay, fair enough. The conversation for another day. Lue Elizondo, thanks so much. Good seeing you.
My honor and privilege.
So you get Lue's thoughts there. You get this is the same thing where she said, look, she's an intelligence officer. It seemed to me like he was trying to say, like, hey, maybe she's talking too much. I don't know. I don't even talk this much. I'm not, she shouldn't be disclosing. Who knows? They're on the same team or not? I have no idea. But what it does seem like is that there's so much of this different information out there that people are not being forthcoming. We've seen, and then they really kind of dove more so into the idea of the drones and what drones and how drones in warfare could be dangerous, which is absolutely 100% true. But it also goes back to, and they mentioned in this report, NewsNation, the flat out lie that was told to us in January that it was the FAA that the drones were, and then you hear Gabbard saying, well, no, there's a lot more there, so I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Nobody's calling out the administration for saying it's the FAA, minus the NewsNation reporter there. But I'm talking about inside the government. It's like, no, that was told, and that's not actually what's happening. The bigger question now that is coming here for me is this those steps of saying, okay, look, if we're getting the vice president mentioning UFOs, if we have the director of national intelligence now speaking about how she believes there is non-human intelligence and that there's alien life, does that start to become the setup of saying, hey, this is what's going on because there's other distractions out there right now There's other scandals out there right now that if you did start to say, hey, look, we're going to release information and say, we are not alone, and here is what it is. Do those scandals kind of go away? And do people start to say, hey, there are more important things to talk about now with the fact that we are not alone in this universe. And what do you really know? We want to know that. Is that a thing that's going to happen? Is this the small setup? Or is it merely, in the skeptic's point of view, merely just a tactic to avoid attention from scandals and say, oh, oh my goodness, the director of national intelligence just said that she believes in aliens? Hey, that's not going to make anything else go away. But I wonder if this now, because this is a big story, this is a huge story, and I wonder if more people will start to pick this up. I wonder tonight when I turn on the regular news on television, before I go to sleep, I always check the news, see what the stories are. I wonder if this will be one of those stories. I don't know. What do you guys make of all of it? Put your thoughts in there. Do you think this is big news? Do you think this is the first step to where the government's actually outright saying we have information? We are going to start we're trickling in it now. Maybe it is time for disclosure here. As Hal Puthoff said on, what the hell, where was he? I think it was on Rogan when he was talking about how they were all in a meeting one time during the, it might have been during George Bush Jr. I don't remember. I can't remember. But when he was in a meeting, and then there was a bunch of big people in a room, and he says that the conversation was, should disclosure happen? And this is either was it? If it was George Bush Sr., then clearly it was in the late '80s. But if it was Junior, then it was early 2000s. But nonetheless, it was at least 25 years or more the last time they had the potential conversation. And well, that's not true either. They could have been having those conversations 2 weeks ago. But does it actually look like it's going to happen now? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this story. I'm baffled, to say the least. What say you guys? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't done that already, we just hit 50,000. We hope to hit more. We hope to hit 100. We need you to hit that button. So thanks again. Put your thoughts in there. I want to know.